Growing up, I probably had the most traditional background with the violin. I played in quartets, I learned all the Mozart there was, I practiced my scales every day just like I was supposed to. I was following all the rules and I was in that set path to hopefully one day join the symphony. But then a few years ago, something happened that forever changed that path for me. I was at my parents' home in Maryland, and I was sitting in my bedroom, and one night, my mother slowly walked in the room, and she was crying. And that was the night that she revealed to me that she had just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And for those of you in the room tonight that have dealt with something like cancer in your family, you know that your mind immediately races to the future. But her tears that night were not from what was to come of the chemo, of the radiation. It wasn't because of that. Her tears that night were from the past. For 25 years, my mother at this point had worked as an accountant, slowly rising up the ranks. But that was the night that she told me that her lifelong dream was to actually open up a jewelry store, and that she loved arts and crafts, and that she had this vision of herself where she would have a job, ideally, where she could build something with her hands all day. She told me story after story of this ideal version of herself that had not been manifested. And why not? Well, for years after years, her decisions, her actions, were based upon what other people told her was the traditional and safe thing to do. Her unique and crazy aspirations were limited by the standards of the past. Now, fortunately, I'm happy to tell you tonight that she's still doing well and she's thriving, but this conversation drastically changed how I viewed my own relationship with the world. It caused me to ask myself, was there this ideal version of myself that I was not manifesting, that I was not fulfilling, because I was just listening to the status quo, or because I was just following a standard way of thinking? And immediately my mind rushed back to the violin. So along with the Mozart, along with the quartets, I always had these aspirations to write my own music. But classical music, to me at the time when I was growing up, seemed like this 400-year-old immovable force that, who was I to challenge? But after this experience, it really empowered me to challenge those limiting beliefs, to view the music of Mozart not as the end-all, be-all, but instead as one person's beautiful perspective, and that I, too, could offer my unique perspective to the world. And so I began to compose my own music, including the piece that I just performed for you tonight. Thanks. Thank you. In my compositions, I aim to connect the classical world with melodies and rhythms from genres such as pop music and jazz. And after 2 decades of playing the violin, I was finally realizing my vision instead of just playing the notes that other people had written. So tonight, the idea I would like to offer you, more the question I would like to challenge each of you with, is that when it comes to social issues, are you writing your own music? Are you writing new music? Or are you just playing the notes that have been written in the past? Are you creating the sounds for tomorrow? Or are you just accepting the sounds of yesterday? And I literally mean the sounds. I mean the inner voices in your head. I mean the spoken culture in your organization, the limiting beliefs that something cannot be changed because it has been the same way for years. Tonight, all of us, are we accepting the fact that there have been over 500 homicides in LA in the past year? And are we accepting the fact that there have been over 3 million reports of domestic violence in the United States? Are we accepting that? Or are we pushing ourselves to create a new reality, to write new melodies? The world needs each of us to compose a new future for the social issues that are at hand. But don't worry, there is no quota for this. Whether you write an entire symphony and start a nonprofit, or whether you just write one note and just offer some simple act of kindness, everyone has a sound to contribute, a unique voice that is important. Thank you. Thank you. The world is in dire need of fresh ideas that are delivered with passion. We can no longer settle for the same old songs, the same old solutions that are giving us the same old results. Instead of allowing the standards, the practices of the past to anchor us back, we need to position them so that they can propel us forward. In facing these huge systemic problems like educational inequality, poverty, the opportunity lies in the fact that we do not have to start from scratch. No, we can build from the ideas that others have also offered the world. Just as I just took a little idea from Smooth Criminal and felt inspired to add my own unique twist to it, I challenge you tonight as you hear the different ideas, whether on stage or in conversation, to hear the ideas and think to yourself, how can you add your own unique perspective to the mix? Tonight, above anything else, is a night to celebrate and unleash the genius that truly stems from radical collaboration. It's a chance to look for a partnership, a non-obvious partnership across industry, across sector, across teams. It's a time to step outside of your own experience and seek potential in that which you may once have overlooked. So keep your ears open, embrace the different melodies, because the spark for the next great social innovation can truly come from anywhere. Thank you.